Welcome to this other edition of the news today, June 8, 2020, focus in Africa and the world. We begin in Mali. After protests broke out in the capital Bamako with political parties, associations as well as civil society organizations demanding the resignation of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, the government in a press release response was rather appealing. The Malian government is renewing its offer for dialogue to the collective associations and political parties that demonstrated last Friday. He also assured the people that he will remain attentive to the satisfaction of their legitimate concerns. In a way to mount pressure, the opposition party gathered around the influential Imam Mahmoud Dicko in a front called the Rally for the Patriotic Forces of Mali, planning new demonstrations for the week. Meantime, a new meeting has been scheduled for this Monday. Chad's former leader, Hissène Habré, has returned to prison on Sunday after a 2-month humanitarian release to protect him from the coronavirus. The information was confirmed by the Senegalese keeper of seals. According to a press release, the judge overturned his lawyer's request to renew the permission. Hissène, in his 70s, had ruled Chad from 1982 to 1990 with an iron fist. He had gone to exile after his overthrow. It was in 2016 that the Senegalese justice system sentenced him for abuses committed during his reign as a dictator. He had spent his 60 days of freedom under house arrest at his home. While he returns to prison, he may, however, make another request, but not before 30 days after his return to cell. In Libya, renegade military commander Khalifa Haftar has backed a ceasefire to take effect this Monday, June 8, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi announced after talks in Cairo. Some of the proposals arrived at includes the creation of a panel representing all three regions of Libya, West, East, and South to draft a new constitution for the country. Others include a main presidential council to appoint a prime minister and for a government in which the representation of the three regions is proportionate to the size of their population. The government of the National Accord seemed poised to reject Egypt's proposal. Al-Sisi urged the international support for the initiative and called on the United Nations to invite Libya's rival administrations for talks. Out of Africa, we now take you to France, where leaked comments from a private Facebook group for officers have fueled outrage over racism among French law enforcement, including Paris prosecutors, to open an investigation. The page was found to contain racist, sexist, and homophobic posts. The revelation comes just days after the Interior Minister said that racist statements by police officers should be investigated. Tensions between law enforcement and racial minorities in France are already running high. On Thursday in Lyon, police fired tear gas on protesters out to demonstrate about the death of Adama Traore. Even as Black Lives Matter demonstrations have grown in strength in France. Thousands of Palestinians and Israelis rallied in Tel Aviv over the weekend against Israel's plan to extend sovereignty over parts of the West Bank. Protesting in face masks and keeping their distance from each other, the demonstrators carried banners saying no to annexation, no to occupation, yes to peace and democracy, and Palestinian flags. The protest came weeks after the government is expected to push forward an annexation, which Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has promised to begin doing by July 1. Palestinians want the West Bank as the heartland for their future state and see annexation as the death clang to their hopes for a statehood. In view of accusations of China's first covering up the outbreak of the coronavirus, the country has denied the allegations, saying the virus wasn't noticed until December 27, 2019. This information was disclosed over the weekend in a newly published document in which China defended its transparency and openness to as reporting the COVID-19 outbreak. It also says that China's relations with other countries have not declined because of the issue, but rather improved, contrary to reports. However, China Foreign Vice Minister also highlights that a few other countries persist on damaging China's reputation with false accusation about coronavirus information holding. It should be recalled that American President Donald Trump had personally called out the Chinese government and the World Health Organization for mishandling the coronavirus outbreak and covering up the real figures, and that encouraged the spread. Now China is determined to defend itself. And justice for George Floyd protests and Black Lives Matter movement is far above just an American issue, but a worldwide issue. The protests and rallies that began in the US some 12 days back is fast spreading, gaining more grounds worldwide, as many other countries across the world are also now experiencing rallies. Over the weekend, there have been mass protests from Sydney in Australia, the UK, France, Germany, Spain, and other countries, as tens of thousands of people took to the streets with the Black Lives Matter slogan in protest of police brutality that resulted to the death of George Floyd. Taking a knee, marching and chanting "I can't breathe," which were George Floyd's last words, are some of the ways in which protesters demand justice for him, demonstrate their anger about police brutality, and demand that the world addresses the problem of racism, notably against Black people worldwide. Thank you very much for choosing the news this Monday to be informed in Africa and the world. Until we meet again, do take care and stay blessed.